Well, good evening. This is Mel Brandon with Aul Financial Group. I wanted to take this opportunity to thank you very much for listening in, and hopefully you'll find it of interest and of use in your retirement and financial planning. We spend a lot of time and energy on doing the educational portion of our practice and working with people to understand more about their finances and also to how to get the most out of their retirement planning structures. So we appreciate you taking the opportunity or the time to give us a listen. And we're going to be talking about a lot of different things tonight. I do want to make some introductions. First of all, I want to file a complaint. It snowed here last night, not much, but it was kind of nasty. And Steve Aul had the audacity to send us a picture of the beach down in Costa Rica, where him and Lori are sunning themselves this week. So you can absolutely give him a lot of flack about that, just rubbing it in, showing those pretty beach pictures. But and all kidding aside, we hope they're having a great time. They're down there, partly educational and partly a fun time with Brookstone, and well-deserved little vacation. So standing in for Steve this evening is going to be his daughter, Meghan, who is the head of our marketing campaigns and programs and does a lot of the stuff that I used to have to do. And oh, thank you so much that I don't have to do this stuff anymore. I absolutely appreciate it. I'm going to turn a portion of the session over to Meghan and let her give you an update on what's up and coming, and then I'll close it up with a few thoughts about what might be happening in 2023. Meghan?
All right, thanks, Mel. Give me just 1 second. I'll get us to the next page here. All right, so just wanted to, like I said, introduce myself. I am Steve Aul's daughter. I do head up the marketing department here, and very excited for some upcoming events this year. We're really happy with all the turnout for our events in 2022. There was a survey that went out to all of the clients in our newsletter to see, okay, hey, we're planning these events, but we want to make sure we're doing events that people are interested in. And one of those events ended up being the Fabulous Fox Theater Tour. Was a highly requested one on the surveys, and lo and behold, was our fastest event to fill up. I think it filled up in under 24 hours, and we currently have 35 people on our wait list. So that event is coming up on February 4th. So we look forward to seeing folks there. And we're waiting to see how it goes. Make sure we like the tour and the food and everything. And hopefully we'll, with this many people, we'll have another one of these events in the future. So if you are interested in this tour, we are planning on reaching out to the waitlist people first if we ever do this event in the future. So if you're interested, please still sign up. There was a link to register in the newsletter. If you don't have that, just feel free to either call the office or shoot me an email, and I can put you on the wait list for that. So we have, if we ever have that event in the future, that you are on the list for it. Great. And then coming up on March 3rd is our first open house of 2023. Our guest speaker will be Jen Donovan. He'll be discussing taxes, and there'll be more information about that coming up in the newsletter a little bit closer to the event. But again, that's an event and for those who are unfamiliar, that's an event that we host in our office. It's just there'll be snacks and drinks and just mingling, getting to either know other clients, ask us questions. It's a little bit of a social event, as well as, like I said, we have a guest speaker, so it's also educational. So we really look forward to having you there on March 3rd. There's no need to register. Also, if you have any friends, family, people that think might be somebody who would need our assistance, or just you would like to introduce them to us, this is an open event, so guests are welcome. And our next event is April 22nd. It'll be a shred event at our office. We had one in 2022, and so we had a food truck there. We're still in the process of booking that food truck. So if there's a food truck that you've had at other events or around town that you really love, please reach out to me, and we'd love to put them into consideration. It will be at our office. It'll be in the parking lot of our office from 10 a.m. to noon on Saturday, April 22nd. That is Earth Day. So we thought it was very fitting and to bring any of your documents that you need shredded, and we'll take care of that for you at that event. We also are in the process of booking more client events for March and April. So as those come up, please keep an eye out for those in our newsletter. And if you're not on the newsletter yet, just go to our website and you can sign up there. And if they're at the end of this call, if there's any questions about events, I'm here to answer them. So thank you. And back to you, Mel.
Thanks, Megan. Part of the process around here does involve a succession plan. Steve and I have been together for quite a while now on starting the business, getting it developed. And someone said today we've come a long way since they joined us a few years ago. We started out in the old house over on Manchester Road that Steve had when we really got together, and started developing the business there. And we've been in our current location here in Chesterfield for almost 7 years, I believe, 6 or 7 years. And we've almost outgrown it. We are at a point where we may be expanding in the near future. We have added on to our practice the ability to do certain types of estate planning documents, including wills, trust, powers of attorney, deed registrations, things of that nature for our planning clientele. So if you haven't gotten those documents in place, please give us a call and we'll be happy to talk to you about it. We're doing it at a pretty nominal price compared to what it cost out on the open market to have those documents prepped. We've grown exponentially, partly because of your referrals and the ability to share your knowledge of us, I should say, with your friends and people like yourself who have decided they may want to be talk to us about their financial planning. We do appreciate it, and we want to let you know that we appreciate it very much. And we will continue to do the client appreciation dinners, the presentations. The Fox just absolutely blew everybody away. All three of us will be there as far as the planners. Steve, Deanna, and myself will be there. So we'll be walking through the...
Actually, sorry to stop you, Mel. Deanna will not be able to make that event. I believe it's her I think it's her grandson's birthday that day. So she will not be able to attend.
All right, let me back that up. So Steve and I will be there to walk with you through the Fox. I was in St. Louis back when they were renovating the Fox last century, and it was a major undertaking, and it is absolutely a beautiful venue. And if you haven't been there, you'll enjoy the walk through. It's a historical tour where it came from, how it got redeveloped and refurbished and put back into pretty major use. So if you're signed up for that, we look forward to seeing you. If you're not, get on the waiting list, because I can assure you we will be doing it again with, we have more people on the waiting list than we had room to take this time. So we'll be expanding that out into the future. I do want to talk a little bit about an article that I pulled up today, and it is about what we think is happening, and this is kind of a backup on that particular thing, and where things might be for 2023. It kind of leads into some of the changes that we're making in our portfolios and recommending to our clients for this year. Essentially, this particular article came from, I believe it was, let's see, Ryan Emery or Army. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly or not, but 61% chance of recession this year, economists say. And effectively, it was a large percentage, a very high percentage of economists and Wall Street people today are saying that we're going to have a recession. A lot of us have thought that for a time and have been looking for it. And the Fed's process an answer to it was to raise interest rates. The idea meaning that if they increase the cost of doing business, business will slow down. The fear is, did they do too much? Because housing has been very dramatically affected. Businesses are being affected. The thing that's holding steady is a strong economy with spending and also the job markets. But that's starting to take some toll in that there are, especially in the tech industry, with literally tens of thousands of people being laid off or let go or downsized. So there is a fear that the pace at which the Feds increased the rates may have more of an effect that than they had hoped for. So what it boils down to is most people are saying we're probably going to have a recession in 2023. The question is it going to be mild and short-lived, or is it going to be the classic hard recession that lasts a considerably longer period of time? And quite honestly, the answer is nobody really knows. These are all just different people's opinions. And even amongst the economists, there's a huge differential between those that are thinking soft and hard on what's going to happen for this year. One of the things that we are doing with portfolios as we do reviews with our clients are changing, in some cases, the models that we're using. As opposed to using bonds and equities in the models. And there's a lot of you already know, and if you don't know that, we started stripping out long duration bonds from our portfolios about 18 months ago in anticipation of the rise in interest rates that the Feds were talking about. When interest rates rise, especially dramatically, current values of existing bonds shrink. So as interest rates went up, people lost 13 to 15% of their value in their bond portfolios in 2022. And that's not something that's going to go away if the Feds continue to raise interest rates this year. They are talking about raising interest rates again in 2023. It might be 2 or 3 times, up to 0.5% each time. If doing that, we could expect even more erosion of bond values. That's one of the reasons we removed most of them from our portfolios. But this year, we're looking at something a little different. Most of the economists are agreeing there's going to be a bit of a recession this year. Again, don't know if it's short or long, but that's going to mean high volatility and uncertainty for the year. So one of the things that we're doing with a lot of our models, especially something like the smart beta moderates or moderately aggressive models, is rearranging those into a little bit different structure that is leaning more toward creating income and cash growth in the accounts as opposed and reducing some of the equity exposure. Still not going back into the bond portfolios at this point, but we're doing a mix of equities, structured notes, and dividend stock portfolio, and some combination of there, because the dividend portfolio throws off the dividends. Not a guaranteed thing, but it's done fairly well. We'll be happy to talk about the performance in the past of those. Again, that's no guarantee of the future, but it's what we have to work with. And then we're using the structured notes that are paying out a pretty decent percentage on a 1-year cycle. So having those cash elements mixed in with the equities, we feel might be a really good structure for the next 12 to 18 months. To give time to find out where the stable mark is with the market and where we might be going back into a more traditional growth spurt. So I'm not going to spend a lot more time on that. I just wanted to take an opportunity to let you know that if we haven't talked to you about that model changes yet, and we give you a call for an upcoming review, please take advantage of it, because we definitely want to look at some adjustments. And if you have an interest in finding out more about the dividend portfolios or the structured notes, we'd be more than happy to get you the materials and set up a time to sit down and talk about those things.